Welcome to Insights with Thomas Caldwell on Thursday, May the 2nd, 2024. Tom, since our last conversation, we've all heard the 2024 Canadian federal budget. What are your thoughts overall, but especially the changes in the capital gains tax?
Well, the budget itself was quite, in one way it was shocking, but in the other way it's the same old. It showed the government's need for funds, their insatiable desire and need for ever more funds to fund their spending programs. The tax increases right across the board are not good, particularly at this time. Canada needs development. Canada needs growth. And what was surprising, capital gains tax is very important, and to every Canadian, whether it be you own a second home, or whether it be you're investing your little bit of money to try to make money or take a risk or to have fund a company. This is very important for economic growth. And frankly, this government and our Prime Minister has no idea of economic growth. The concept of introducing a capital gains tax at this point is really unconscionable. And the funny part was they did that one day, and the next day they appointed a past governor of the Bank of Canada, Mr. Polos, to have a study of how to bring more investment capital into the country. You've just increased taxes, and that would be his first conclusion coming out with it. It shows a complete disconnect with reality. I think it's actually quite dangerous. It's quite bad. And I don't think we can really put up with a government like this for much longer. But unfortunately, we're locked for about a year or so. But the capital gains tax is devastating to all Canadians, but it's always presented as fair. And the one comment is this increased tax is going to help young Canadians. That's nonsense. I mean, because it makes the tax system fairer. Everybody, whenever they say fair, it's because they want to increase tax and they want to separate Canadians. Oh, we're taking it from the rich guys to give to the poor guys. The most cataclysmic comment that came out was a few days ago when our beloved Prime Minister said, I'm not really interested in innovation and new enterprise. I'm interested in people who can't pay the rent. Well, that sounds good. It's a good buzzline, but you can't pay your rent if you can't have good jobs and you can't grow this economy. We need economic growth, and everything they've done since being in power has been counter economic growth. We can't put up with it very much longer. Canada's falling behind in many, many ways. And I think it's quite serious, frankly, but that's my conclusion.
So commodities, they seem to be moving fast these days. What do you think about gold?
Well, it's interesting. There's a whole dynamic on gold. Gold is it sort of sits there, and people went to cryptocurrency trying to get out of fiat currency, that is printed money. People don't have confidence in governments, and they don't have confidence in paper money. And inflation is a permanent fact of life, which I've said many, many times. So a lot of it is escaping from paper currencies, trying to get away from governments. But there's another game going on. One of the big buyers of gold in the last little while has been China. And you think, well, maybe it's because they're trying to come up with this new currency, the BRIC countries, to get away from the US dollar because America is weaponizing the dollar. So it could be they want to come up with a currency backed by gold. But China is buying not only gold, but everything else, copper. And typically, historically, countries accumulate commodities when they're preparing for a war. That's typically because you're going to be embargoed, you're not going to get it. So you're going to have all the stuff you need to do that. I don't think that's the case, because one of the advantages of the tragedies going on, say in the Ukraine, is people don't know how to do war anymore. Tanks, aircraft, they're not the same thing. So I don't think that's the case. I think it's more likely, and this is just my hypothesis coming from Mr. Chin in our office, that there's planning to devalue the renminbi, that is the Chinese currency, to try to get their economy going. So I think they're buying all the commodities they need at a higher level of their currency before they devalue. So I don't think it's a preamble to war. I think it's a preamble possibly to devaluation. But like it or not, they're huge buyers, and they've been divesting from U.S. Treasury because there is this, little bit of conflict going on between the United States and China. That will be resolved, but I don't think they're going into Taiwan at this point in time. I just can't see that.
Thank you so much for your insights, Tom.
You're very welcome.
And thank you all for watching. Bye for now.